Hi, and welcome back to episode 36 of the Have We Made It Yet podcast. It's the podcast where two creatives and their guest talk about the process of making it. I'm joined by my co-host here.
The comedian Josh Yang.
And I'm the actor Lucas Ng. We're just going to get right into it, Josh. Okay.
Yes.
Have you made it yet, Josh?
No, I haven't. And I feel like I might have taken a little step back because before in my other creative endeavors as well, comedy's on a standstill right now, especially with cases going up. It's only going to get worse. But for now, I would say my other podcast, the Sleep with Josh podcast, I've actually been pretty bad on the scheduling of it. I've been trying to find the time now that I'm starting work full time to be able to get a recording done out on a tighter schedule, but I've been missing a couple. And you know what? I figure it's it's my baby. I'll get it to it when I can. I think I got to now really adapt to life and trying to figure out how to adapt that to what the creative pursuits are. But been solid traction. I think we're gonna hit the next 1,000 downloads pretty soon in the next couple of days.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been nice. It's been a good progression so far from where I was a month ago. Surprisingly, very big in Utah right now.
Very big in Utah.
Yeah,
the Mormons love it, man.
I guess. But Lucas, important question.
Yeah,
have you made it yet?
No. And although there hasn't been a lot of movement, even on the commercials that my agent said that I'm on hold for, no callbacks, nothing yet that I have to make that flight back to Toronto for. But I had a really good chat with one of my with one of the actors that are on the same agency as me. And she just basically just told me, whatever you're feeling right now, Lucas, you're not crazy and you're not going through this alone. And that made me really more relieved, because acting and all that stuff, as I'm sure we're going to get on with our guest here, it's a pretty lonely experience because you just don't know what's happening a lot of the times and you just have to go with the flow. But no, have not made it, but I feel a lot better.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Speaking on our next guest though, Josh, oh my God. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, I'll be honest. I've never met our next guest in person, but he's just as influential to me as any one of my most inspirational actors that I've come across that in my brief time as an actor here. I remember before I jumped into the acting world and was still working in my VFX jobs, I went on IMDb and typed in Vancouver actors to look out for. Our guest's name popped up and I followed him on Instagram. And I've had the chance to see his astounding growth as an actor and as an entertainment professional. So actually, flash forward to earlier this summer, I saw him on an online acting class with Deb Podowski, one of the premier acting coaches, I would say in Canada, but she does most of her work in Vancouver. I couldn't believe it when I saw him in that online acting class, as he's one of my earliest influences in the same class as me, putting in the work. If anything, that really spoke to his hustle, that even though he's found success, he's unwavering in his commitment to do better and to be better. It's that strive that has now inspired me to push even harder in these, really trying times that we're going through right now. Our next guest was named in Canada's Rising Stars in 2018 by The Hollywood Reporter and has appearances in hit shows such as Prison Break, Supergirl, and he's a regular on the exciting show Siren on the Sci-Fi Network. He's the talented actor, writer, producer, and also a recent podcaster. Please give it up for Curtis Lum.
Yes.
Wow. Hey.
Oh, whoa.
What an intro.
Oh, no. So happy. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Hey, happy to be here.
Awesome, man.
Nice to meet you guys. Big fan of the show.
We have a guest saying that they're a fan of the show. I mean, we've had that. You know what? That I think that is the first time that's explicitly right up saying fan of the show. But you know what? Hey, we appreciate it because we appreciate every single one of our fans. Because we have.
I love it. Well, hey, you got one right here, and that intro, man. Wow, it's I feel like an asshole now. You know what I mean? Like, someone.
Why?
And well, I don't know. It's just it's humbling.
Oh.
So it's humbling. It's humbling, and thank you for those kind words. But hey, we're making it, guys. We're making it, boys.
Exactly.
We're here.
Exactly.
Yes.
As we start off with every show, though, Mr.
Yeah.
Curtis Lum, have you made it yet?
What a question, huh? That is the question.
That is the question.
I think short answer is yes. Screw it.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Long answer is no. It's such an ongoing process, and there's levels to this thing in this game, and it's all relative. You know what I mean? But I've learned, especially in these past couple of years, that it's like climbing a mountain. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna come across a lot of moments that are going to be extremely challenging, and hurdles along the way. And I think it's important to every once in a while stop. And when you do stop, is to kind of be present and take in where you're at, and to kind of look back and see how far you've come. And my own personal sort of barometer, or measuring stick for success or making it or whatever, is I try to think about what the Curtis 5 years ago would say about the things that I'm doing today, or my challenges or my problems that I have today. You know what I mean? And even though these are big problems or issues that I go through and I work through currently, these are problems that I wish I had 5 years ago, or that I'd be stoked to have 5 years ago. Yeah. So you have to take all of that in perspectives. And so I've been very, very, very grateful and appreciative of the things that I've been a part of, and my experiences and my journey thus far. So in that regard, yeah, I've made it. I've been asked to be on this podcast. So, I've made it as far as I'm concerned.
Oh my God. I gotta say, Josh, he's making us feel like an asshole, because I feel so humbled right now.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess we've heard it here and now from Curtis Lum that our podcast is the arbiter of everybody who's ever gonna make it or not make it. It is this podcast.
Right. That's right. We'll start it starting right here, right now.
Right here, right now.
It's funny how these things happen, though, because there's shows out there that shoot up here in Vancouver, or there's like these certain talk shows that everyone, it starts off as kind of like this obscure, abstract thing, and then it, once enough people do it, it becomes a thing that people have, whether they want to admit to it or not, they have on their list of goals, if you will.
Right.
But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, man, I got two, young, good-looking, up-and-coming Asian brothers from all the way. You guys are both in Toronto.
I'm in Toronto. Lucas is in Vancouver, but we're both from Vancouver originally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm from Vancouver as well.
Well, snap. I mean, okay, so two handsome Asian dudes from different parts of Canada asked me to be on their podcast, and so I'm very, very grateful and humbled. So yes, I've made it, and we're making it together. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. We're gonna go back to the very beginning there. I read that you got your start at the age of 3 while doing karaoke in Hawaii. So you already do have like a flash for the dramatics there. In your teenage and also early adult life, what made you really want to push and transfer those skills for the dramatics into acting?
That's a really great question. I think I sort of just had this realization that I wasn't really that good at anything else.
Oh.
And I really do have a strong passion for entertaining people. You know what I mean? Like you said, when some of my earliest memories was when I was like 3, 4, 5. My parents would be entertaining a lot of people at karaoke bars.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when you have this kid who's got this never, you know, this endless amount of energy, you know, you just let him run amok, you know. And so for me, I have pictures of it. I mean, not on me, but I have tons of pictures of just me at different karaoke bars, just bringing down the house, entertaining myself. Like, you know, I don't know any people there, but just I'm having a great time. And then that just kind of carried on. You know what I mean? In high school, I was always like the class clown. But I realized that I was always entertaining in some way or form, whether it was throwing parties, throwing high school jams, throwing the prom, throwing, you know, hosting people. You know what I mean? I just loved making people happy.
Right.
And so I grew up in the restaurant business, and my dad always taught me that, you know, working in the restaurants or operating a restaurant is no different from the show business or from acting. You know what I mean? The second you open the doors to your restaurant, it's lights up. Your customers don't care about how your day was, how your morning was, how your week was. They just want to be fed and entertained. And that always, you know, I remember that striking a huge chord with me. And you know, I took that with me. And then it got to a point where I was like, you know, man, I'm killing myself entertaining people anyways, and I'm basically acting, pretending that I'm this happy server or that, you know, that I care about what my customers expectations or experiences are. I'm acting anyways. I may as well try to get paid from this. You know what I mean? So that's how I got into it. Truth be told, I got into acting for all of the wrong reasons. I wanted to, you know, I saw it as a hustle. I wanted to make money. I wanted to be famous. I wanted to, you know, get back at my ex-girlfriend. You know, the usual.
Yeah, there's nothing like making it to really prove to your ex that you fucked up.
And then everything else, like, and the money and the fame is just a byproduct of the revenge. Revenge is, you know, is sweet. It's sweet.
Oh yeah, but boy, was I wrong. You know, it took me a long time, and you know, in this journey to realize that those are definitely the wrong reasons to get into something like this.
Yeah, like you already touched upon it briefly. But I was watching you in another interview beforehand. You mentioned acting was more of like a side hustle before you really took it seriously. It was more just a way to make money and everything. But it was through training with again with Deb Badowski that you really realized how much it really does take for you to excel and that to be the actor that what she can view you as, and also probably what you think you can be too. Is there a moment or a set of moments that made you realize your potential as an actor, and what was the growing process like?
First of all, shout out to Deb Badowski. So I didn't know that. So you're currently in Vancouver, Lucas?
Yeah. So I'm here for at least until October. But I took an online class with her, and a monologue class that I think you should have for 1 week, and then I didn't see you after.
Hey! Don't put my business out there like that. I'm not Twitter, okay?
Okay.
I see you through, damn it.
Yeah.
I was sick. Okay. It's a pandemic. No, I was. I made it. I didn't make it the last week because I had a flight. I was flying out. I was in LA at the time. And I left LA to go to London, and so it was a shit show. I couldn't, and you know, I've known Deb long enough that you know, she let me live that week. But it was because of people like Deb, you know what I mean, that saw my potential before even I could see my potential. Because to what you were saying, starting out, it definitely was something that I just thought, oh, I could do this, you know? Yeah. Why not? I can, you know, we can be successful enough. And the thing about Vancouver is there tends to be sometimes this complacency in the city that
You said it. You said it.
really can very easily slip into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my point is, it's very easy to feel like you're the shit, you know. And so, yeah, I think I just want it to be good enough so that I can just make some money and just continue, you know, thinking I was the shit or whatever.
Right.
But it wasn't until, you know, there was like a core group of us that started off with Deb Podolsky, maybe about, gosh, I want to say like 8, 9, 10 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
And the level of dedication that was in that class that sort of stemmed from this camaraderie that the students in that class built, you know what I mean? Like Deb is an incredible teacher, first and foremost. You know, she, like I said, she saw my potential before I did, and she really beat it out of me. You know, it was that classic, you know how when they say teachers are hard on the students that they believe in, sort of thing. So she was really hard on us, you know, and there's two ways to go about that. You can either you know, cower and crumble under that pressure, or you take that as a challenge and you take that as a learning lesson or as an experiment to say, oh, okay, you know, like, you know, how whatever she gives me today, I'm gonna use that, and that parallels with, you know, the real life, you know, on set experience, because you don't know sometimes what kind of director you're going to get, or you know, what kind of producer is going to come in and give you certain direction or notes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just the hours and the dedication and the commitment that was put into that class, you know, because what I loved about Deb is, you know, she gave us immense value. A typical class, I'm not going to say all classes because I haven't tried all classes, but in most of the classes that I've had the privilege of experiencing, especially in Vancouver, a lot of classes are like, you know, 5 to 9, right? At 9 p.m., everyone, you know, closes up their bags and they go home, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like that with Deb.
Oh.
Her classes, we go until we go, right? So there were several, not even nights, like most nights we were there starting at 5. We were there till like 1 or 2 a.m. And here's the beauty of that class, and this is why it was so special, is because it wasn't like we were just, you know, like on our phones or like just, you know, just watching the time, watching the clock and waiting for our class to finish. Everyone was like at the edge of their seats and really supporting one another and really trying to champion each other to be the best we could be. And I think it was during that time and working through that process, did I see very clearly that, oh, this is something that first of all requires a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of you know, introspection, and it requires me to use everything that I've ever learned in my entire life and filter that and put it into this art form. And I sort of fell in love with that creative process.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when you kind of learn a thing or two and you kind of do it enough, you slowly start to build, you know, a better relationship with it and stuff. And this is all before even like auditioning, and then like the real workforce or workplace. It's like a whole different chapter and different story. But I'm talking about just like being in that sort of classroom environment, in that workshopping or workshop creative space. Yeah, that seeing the work that, you know, my classmates were putting in and seeing the kind of work that they were pulling out of me was incredibly inspiring. And I knew that, okay, this is something that I really want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you briefly touched upon it already in your answer there, but I noticed.
Sorry, I go on tangents, by the way, so just shut me up whenever.
Hey, this is the perfect medium for that. I mean, podcast is half tangents most of the time, so that's where the meat is.
Cool.
I remember in another interview that you did, you mentioned your relationship with auditioning. You at first kind of dreaded it. I think like every other actor, it's a really intense, nervous kind of position to be in.
Yeah.
You turned your mind frame from one of nervousness to excitement.
Mm.
Can you go into a bit more detail about what you mean and how that mind shift has changed your approach to auditioning?
Sure. Ultimately, it's sort of recalibrating and realigning your relationship with fear.
With
Really,
fear. Okay.
but more specifically in an audition setting. For me anyways, personally, I was riddled with anxiety. Like any audition that I'd go to, my whole day is virtually ruined. You know what I mean? Like,
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys can relate. Like, Josh, like, imagine being, a brand new comic and hitting the stage for the first time. That's what auditioning felt like every time for me. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't sleep at night. And then the second I get up in the morning till the audition is over with, I'm all I can think about is not fucking up.
Yeah.
And so basically it took a lot of work, but there was another actually a great acting coach in Vancouver. His name is Matthew Harrison. I audited a bunch of his classes, and he was the one that kind of planted that seed. He was like, it's just like a switch. You flip all of those butterflies, or the anxiety that you feel in your stomach. It's really the same feeling, and it's really the same sort of chemical thing as excitement. Really, it's just that one has a negative connotation to it, and one has a positive. And so it's literally just like a switch in my head that I just go, okay, oh man, like shit, I'm nervous, but wait, what am I nervous about? Like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But as soon as you sort of interpret it as now excitement, and so instead of having it being fear-based, you're now in a more empowered position. And as soon as you're operating from a place of excitement, it now becomes more playful. Now you can bring back the passion and the creativity that we work so hard on. And now when you walk into the room, like anything else that you're excited about doing, whether it's gaming or playing sports and all that, you want to go in there and you want to play and experiment, and you're not really worried about failure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I meant by that switch up.
Awesome.
Just operating from a positive place rather than a negative place, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's the same emotion. Just depends on how you look at it.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that with a lot of either it's comics or people going to start in acting, or even like first time on a stage theater, those type of environments where I think the thing that stops a lot of people from pursuing these type of endeavors or dreams is the immediate fear of failure and fear of the unknown. Because if you don't know you feel like you don't know what you're doing up there, then you just feel like you're going to fail 100% of the times if you go into it, not knowing anything. And that was one of the things that stopped me from even thinking about doing comedy for a long time. It wasn't until like some friends started convincing me, and then me seeing another friend of mine take a class in Toronto that I felt like was very effective, that gave me the knowledge and the tools to know how to tackle the first time and not have this fear of failure right away, because you know a bit more about what to do. Do you have any kind of advice for like new actors in that mindset? It's like, if you're so like stopped by this desire to take action because of a fear of failure, it's like, what would you suggest that somebody should do in order to get over that initial fear?
I guess in my experience, that's a great question, by the way. Everything that I've learned, like truthfully learned, that has really actually stuck with me, has been through actual experience, right? And I mean, here's a little fun fact, or whatever, however you want to take it. But in order to learn anything, technically you have to be wrong about something, or you don't know about something, right? And so failure, if you think about it that way, is sort of a necessary thing that happens inevitably, whether you want it or not. In order for you to grow, in order for you to learn, you kind of have to either not know about something, or you need to try something and realize, oh, I did it wrong, and so let's try it this way. And so you kind of just have to just dive right in. It's sort of like learning how to swim. You just got to just you can make it as grueling as you want. You can take weeks of starting off with your foot. Okay, now you put in your lower half. Okay, now you're gonna sink your head in, and then you're gonna have some dude hold you while you like paddle, or do it the Asian way. Get your parent to just throw you in the deep end, and you learn how to swim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It might not be as there might not be as much finesse in that way, but over time and through consistency and hard work, dedication, and all that, you start learning how to do things your own way, and you start developing your own flavor and playing music, like yourself, essentially, is the ultimate goal, and working towards your potential. And it doesn't happen overnight, but you do have to at some point just dive right in. That would be my advice.
Nice. On that note, though, of finding your own flavor and everything like that too, you've been on a number of pretty major productions, be it Prison Break to Supergirl and everything like that. Based on those different types of shows that you've been on, how does your preparation change from project to project?
Oh, that's a great question. To be honest, I mean, it every show, no matter the size of it, comes with a different set of preparations. I can't, to be honest with you, I can't say that I have one set way of preparing, other than the usual, like I'm not talking about the homework that I do on the character, or like what I bring to the character, but in terms of just bringing myself to a place where I feel ready and confident for that role, it's been a work in progress. To be honest with you, to this day, I'm still figuring that out. You kind of have to run with whatever fits and suits you in that moment. You know what I mean? I don't believe that there's like a one size fits all, or like a one thing that works for every scenario or every situation. It's sort of like martial arts. You know what I mean? Like you can go into the UFC with your karate skills, or you can sort of like Bruce Lee with Jeet Kune Do. You know what I mean? You can learn a little bit from everything, and use whatever suits whoever's in front of you, or whatever situation you're in.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, but ultimately, I think being nervous or being scared is always a good thing, because it shows that you care. And I've always worked from a place of fear for a long time, and so even that whole confidence thing, that's auditioning. But that's just like the tip of the iceberg. Booking the gig, and then like showing up to set, and then performing, with the pressure of knowing that each take could potentially cost $100,000, or whatever the case might be. There's 300 extras, waiting for you to deliver your lines. I mean, that's something that no book or teacher can teach you. You have to sort of experience that for yourself and be in that arena yourself to really sort of navigate through how you yourself deal with that type of pressure.
I've always kind of wondered that too. Like, we're all, us three are Asians right here, and I don't know, at least from my own upbringing, at least from my upbringing, it is an upbringing based on like discipline, and shame and fear. You know, I don't think that's not uncommon for a lot of Asian upbringings. So when you said like you go into auditioning originally from a place of fear, I wonder if that's a truly inherent Asian thing, because it really does kind of put us at like a a lower pedestal if we always are just so fearful of new experiences.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, we can make it an Asian thing, but I think it ultimately comes down to the individual.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, because you're right. I mean, you know, like for instance, especially in this day and age where this type of conversation is had, you know, it's quite pervasive throughout, you know, all platforms, you know,
Yeah.
maybe podcasts or talk shows and all that. But I'm starting to learn that we're all, no matter what you are, if you're Asian, if you're black, if you're Latino, Latina, you know, Spanish, whatever, like we all have our problems, and we're all, I think, more similar than not. And I think we've thought for a very long time that as Asians, it's a part of our culture that that happens, right? But I think ultimately it's abuse or it's insecurity that's passed on from generation to generation, but it's masked as culture, right?
Mm.
So I don't know about you
Right.
guys, but like I don't know if you guys ever got, I won't say beaten, but like spanked by your parents and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I thought, for the longest time, I thought, yeah, I'll beat my kids because, hey, I was beaten and look how I turned out. I turned out decently,
Yeah.
right? But then I, you know, it's because of conversations we're having today where I'm realizing, oh, wait, I mean, that could all be done just through communication.
Yeah.
Right.
It can be done. Discipline can be passed on through love. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
negative and angry,
Mhm.
fear-based, you know, thing that we inflict on one another. It can be done, I think. So sorry, again, I'm going on a tangent, but
No.
I think yes and no. Yes, because we're Asian, um, but there's been other Asian, you know, actors that I've seen in the room that don't have that, like, or at least they don't project that. You know, they just have this sheer confidence that just lights up a room. You know, and that's something I've always kind of gravitated towards, and I've always wanted, but I didn't come from that. You know what I mean? I came from the other side. So,
No, I totally hear you. And on that point, though, Grandma's 80th surprise.
yeah,
Amazing film that truly is timely and needed to be told, because it's a story that can help bridge the gaps of a familial and generational misunderstanding from how I took it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have much to talk about that with movie too. But what about that story significantly made you want to tell and also make a movie about it?
It for me, well, it was two things. Um, I just so happened to be surrounded by other filmmakers at that time,
Nice.
and I was very keen and eager on doing something. And so in Vancouver, uh, we have this film competition every year called the MAM Festival. So MAM is an acronym for Mighty Asian Movie Making Marathon.
Nice.
Right, and so it's a division of the Vancouver Asian Film Festival.
Cool.
Oh.
And I've been a big fan of that for many years. I've been in a few projects myself that have gotten into the MAM competition. And you know, I said to myself, I think I really want to join this year. And so a good friend of mine, and sort of like my mentor figure, Phil Planta, who we call the godfather of Asian indie film here in Vancouver.
Good to know. Awesome.
He was the one that, yeah, I mean, get to know him. He's a great guy. Shout out to Phil Planta. He was the guy that really planted that seed, or you know, that birdie in my ear, and saying, just do it, just try it, you know. And at that time, I didn't have a story yet. I was flirting with a few other concepts, and And then I had met our cinematographer, Mark Youngco, on another shoot. And he told me that he wanted to apply. And so I said, oh, cool. And so he's like, do you have any ideas? And I was like, no, but I'd love to collaborate. And Phil was the one that said, okay, we just want something short and concise. Like, what is a story that you might have that literally can just be like one thing, you know what I mean? And then from that one thing, we extract a 10-minute, story from that.
Yeah.
And so I thought, hey, I got this story that actually happened to me. So what easier way to draw inspiration than from real life things. And so that night I wrote the first. I'm not a writer, okay, so I should preface this by saying that I'm not a writer. I've never written anything before other than just things for fun. But I went home that night and it kind of felt like I had this like lightning rod of that hit me with like inspiration, and I kind of just like banged out these 10 pages, and I was like,
sorry, in one night?
I'm like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, in one night you wrote 10 pages.
Yeah. I mean, it was just the first draft, you know what I mean? And I sent it to my girlfriend, not knowing how she felt about it, because there were some things in there that I'm not sure if she was entirely privy to, fully. But thankfully she loved it, and literally Grandma's 80th surprise will always be very special to me, because it was one of the very few projects that I've ever had the privilege of being a part of that all the stars just sort of aligned and everything clicked. It was so easy. I don't mean that in that it wasn't hard work, but it was easy in that, like, from the moment of its inception, everyone that I envisioned to be in the cast, everyone I envisioned to be in the crew, everyone said yes. Everyone was down. Our locations, even when it came to money and funding, it was all there miraculously. Wow. And so it was truly a major blessing, that project.
And honestly, we're more blessed to actually have it out and see it, because it's a beautiful film, man. And congratulations on the whole cast and crew, yourself, who also acted in it. Like, incredible job, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I'm a writer myself too. And I think one of the major things about like writing and the separation between writing and acting is that you can be a bit more objective about your work too, if you don't do two things at the same time. You wrote it and you're also like starring in it too. Right. How was that process like, and how could you separate the two different work streams and still be objective about your performance?
That's a great question. Well, I should probably rewind, and I gotta really give a lot of the credit to where it's due. So Fala Akinbala, who co-directed it and co-wrote it with me. So this, bouncing it off her was the best thing that I could have done, because awesome. She's an actress, also on Siren, and she's, very accomplished actor. But she has this innate sort of like crazy talent for writing. Awesome. And we didn't know it at this time, but she had just finished this a documentary directing course that she had taken, and so I thought, ooh, this could be a great opportunity, because we were coming back to Vancouver to shoot the third season. This was the last season of Siren. Yeah, and I thought, hey, here's a little, you just finished a directing course. Here's a little gift for you. I mean, would you be interested in directing this? Oh, man. Yeah. But before that, though, I just wrote the first draft, and, like I said, I just kind of had this moment of inspiration, and I just kind of just word vomited it onto the page. She was the one that really took that and sort of molded it into a much more well thought out, a recipe that was much closer to what we actually shot. Yeah. So I got to give it up to her. And then so also having her um, um, on the day, like on set directing, it made things incredibly easier.
Awesome.
Because you have that trust with your partner. Yeah, there's like two of you. You know what I mean? So it was actually much easier than I thought. I've produced maybe 3 or 4 shorts before, where I also acted in it, and it was very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Because you have to be objective about everything. And so when you're so the problem is when you're doing that as someone that's just starting out, you don't really know how to fully exercise your creative side. And so when you're too objective on yourself too soon, you could potentially sort of inhibit or hold yourself back, if you will.
Absolutely.
So in this case, I had someone that was way more talented than me in both fields, in directing and in writing, and having the trust, go both ways on that, I think was part of the magic sauce that made that, again, the experience so great, and also I think the story as strong as it was.
Absolutely, man. It honestly, whoever hasn't checked it out yet, please do, because it's an incredible short film. Wrapping up here, almost at the last question now. We are living at unprecedented times right now, where a lot of our production and even travel and finding new experiences is a really hard thing to come across right now. We're locked in our own bubble. We don't get to see our extended friends a lot more. I remember you had talked about experiences and lived experiences being monumental for an actor, as it really informs your work and also lets you play with the different colors and different palettes of a lived experience and everything. How have you kept yourself inspired and informed so that you can not just go delve into yourself too much, but also be empathetic to different understandings so that you can bring it to your work when you're acting again?
Sorry, say that last bit again.
That
last sentence.
In the time of lockdown and everything, how have you still managed to gain new experiences to inform your acting work?
Well, to be candid with you, this last year, and not to undermine the severity of what's going on, there's people that I know that have COVID, and I know a lot of people that are not is not in a great place, at all, and especially financially and all of that. This pandemic has affected a lot of people negatively, and so. But with that said, this year has been low key very educational, I would say, and just much needed for me. Like
awesome.
It has felt like a giant gap year that I've never took. Like I've been working, for a full-time job since I was 16. I've never stopped working, and so in a weird way, this was like exactly. I couldn't have asked for anything better, for the industry to completely just shut down, and I don't have to worry about sort of where I'm at with things, or like how successful I am, or this or that, and I can just. It was like a really nice equalizer, and we can really just sit back and just all be people for the first time, So with that said, I took this year to really go to work inward instead of outward. A lot of people during this time, maybe on Instagram or whatever social media, a lot of people blew up. A lot of people doubled down and went extra hard in terms of creating content. I was very conscious of that. I didn't want to add to the noise of the world. And so the first few months, like from February, when did the pandemic really hit? Like March, April?
March. Yeah, beginning of March.
Yeah. So March, April, May, those 3 months, I went the other way. I said, let's leave social media alone. Relative to me, you know what I'm saying? Like comparatively to how much I was on my phone before, I tried to be on my phone a lot less, and I wanted to go inwards and learn as much about myself as I could. And because what I'm finding is that the more I know about myself, and the more I know how I deal with things, and like at a very sort of micro and very specific degree and level,
Yeah.
These things can all be applied to our craft and to the work. So I worked with a sort of a life coach, and I worked with a hypnotherapist, and I went back to like work on all of my own past traumas and all of the hardships that I never really truly ever unpacked and worked out or worked through. And I found that by doing that, I came out of this pandemic just like way more present and way more confident, because there's something about just knowing yourself and accepting yourself and loving yourself, instead of trying to be this thing or this person that you think you respect or that you think you want to be like,
Yeah.
It's constantly, you're just constantly telling yourself, oh, you're not good enough yet, and that's kind of what I meant by when I say I've made it. Like, I'm tired of telling myself I haven't made it yet, because it's a very, acting is hard enough as it is, you know what I mean? And if we don't celebrate these sort of small victories and these small wins along the way, not only is it lonely, is it tough, is it hard, but it can be very depressing, and your mental health can be drained like that, right? I'm sure you can attest to that.
Yeah.
So in short, I think really plugging back into me, knowing knowing myself to the point that I know how I would react to certain things. I know, I also know what I like and what I don't like.
Yeah.
So when it comes to certain projects or certain auditions, if I'm overwhelmed with auditions, like I'm at a great place right now where I just won't do it if I'm not feeling it. Not from an egotistical standpoint, it's not like a cocky, like I'm too good for that. It's like, no, I legit, I'm totally happy with letting someone else play this, because I want to focus on this, you know what I mean? And that in itself is empowering. And empowering yourself right now, I think is very, very crucial.
I love that.
Very true. Yeah. Very true. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. That does sound like it's coming from a lot of introspection, but then a lot of like, yeah, you're right. Like when you're fighting against the noise, or you've been going nonstop, it's hard to really understand what you did. Like going through everything is like what has happened. Like it's hard for you to comprehend until you take the time. So I think a lot of people have been doing that. And I guess to bookend like how we've been kind of discussing this and all of that, like based upon where you are now in how you're approaching like auditions, or how you see yourself moving forward, like what would you say is like your next, say, goal or objective that you really want to fulfill?
I think especially because of right now, there's so much uncertainty. Like even in Vancouver right now, I heard there's something like, for sure 50 plus, but I heard something along the lines of 61 productions currently that are going off right now. I don't know how sustainable that is, to be honest with you, but nothing's promised tomorrow, as we now know. And so for me, my main focus now is really trying to put love into the things that I care about, and that's people, that's relationships, that's projects, and myself. Like I said, I took the year off, and I rediscovered sort of my passions and things that I'm stoked about, and nice. And I haven't had the opportunity to sort of navigate those things before. And I think that having that balance is so super important, and we forget about that when we're so, constantly, inundated with just pressure and anxiety of, again, wanting success or wanting to be happy or whatever, So yeah, I really want to champion the people that champion me. I really want to tell the stories that I maybe started in the past that I've kind of forgotten about or left by the wayside because I got too busy. So now I'm going back into the things that really, truly bring me a lot of joy and fulfillment and purpose,
Great.
Because at the end of the day, I think when we talk about like legacy and those type of things, I want to be known as the guy that just, he just tried his best and he wanted to accomplish great things within his means.
Love it.
Wow. Sounds amazing. Well, we're definitely looking forward to seeing what comes next. So thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely.
Of course.
We on for the word association right here?
Yeah, we've been talking a lot. Let's loosen up as well. Play a little quick game of word association.
Okay.
Joshua, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Shout out to this pimple I got right here, guys.
Shout out
again.
Nice. Yeah. That pimple is working hard to make it. He's making it in the shot.
Makeup. Where's makeup? No, there's shit.
Nice. But yeah, all right, let's go into this word association game. So clear your mind of all of the stuff we talked about. Let everything flow.
So you say a word and then I just say the first word that comes to mind?
Yes, so I'll have 10 words, and then I'll go one word after each other. And then after the words I say, whatever first word comes into your mind or like image or idea, you can just say it however you want, and then we'll just go one after the other, and then see what happens.
And is it just me playing, or are you playing too, Lucas?
No, it's only you playing.
It's just you.
Okay.
All right. Let's do this. So for me, first word: family,
friends,
pineapple.
Makes your sperm taste good.
I mean, it's a fact. It's facts.
I mean, vitamin C. Is this PG-13?
It isn't now. But next word: rain,
Vancouver.
alone.
I'm gonna wear this Ovaltine hat that I found.
Nice.
Found this at my old parents' place. Here we go. Sorry.
All right. Alone.
Dark.
Motivation.
Rocky.
Nice.
Kumquat.
Kumquat? I thought we were PG-13 here, dude. Kumquat. What is that? A fruit?
It's a fruit. It's a fruit.
Tasty?
That's the Freudian word. That's the Freudian word in all of my words. Kumquat. It's like, oh, is it not? Okay. Next word. Mountain.
Ain't none of them high enough.
Ooh, nice.
Wait, sorry. One word answers?
No, it doesn't have to be one word. There's like, it could be image, one word, thought,
Copy.
All good. Next word. Tightrope.
Balance.
Satisfied.
Ooh. Cigarette.
All good.
All good. And finally, ending.
Ooh. Happy.
Nice.
And ending should be happy. Ending should be happy.
If the ending's not happy, I don't want it.
Yeah, we're talking films, of course.
100%.
Ah.
For all our Spotify listeners, he's wearing an Ovaltine hat right now. So if you don't know what Ovaltine is, you are missing out. Your loss.
You think we can get Ovaltine to sponsor this episode?
Ooh,
You have connections?
We'll try.
We can only try.
Okay, fair enough. I like it.
All right. You can't score if you don't shoot, right?
Exactly. Shooters got to shoot, man. Okay, so first word of 10. Get into your clear space. Get into your Zen state.
Oh shit! Another 10. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay, first one. Decide.
Now.
Jay-Z.
It's The Rock.
Visions.
Ooh. Visions. I wanted to say clarity for some reason, but yeah.
Solid.
Sticking with that. Nice. Solid.
First word.
Strength.
The Rock.
Nice. Recover.
Very important.
Conflict.
Dodge.
Oh, nice. Master.
Of none.
Oh, okay. Good show. Humble.
Sit down.
Learn.
Just be humble.
Yeah. Learn.
Live.
Nice. And the last one, Curtis.
Lum.
The Curtis Lum.
Woo! Give it up for Curtis.
Great. Yes.
Awesome, man. Where can people find you? What are your handles?
I'm not really on Twitter, so don't even bother finding me there. I'm Handsome Lum on Instagram. I didn't give myself that nickname, so for those of you that thought that, you're wrong. Okay. And that's about it, really.
Nice.
Oh. Yeah.
Cool. Any projects? Oh, your podcast. You want to plug that right now?
It's not really a podcast, to be honest with you, but yeah, I started this thing sort of in the middle of this pandemic called Coffee with Curtis, and that was created just really because I was bored out of my mind and I missed grabbing coffee with my friends, and it was an opportunity to kind of kill many birds with one stone. It was an opportunity for me to catch up and then also plug in with friends that I haven't seen that we were supposed to get coffee with anyways. And as a way to sort of put some positivity back out there into the world. You know, as we said, there was so much noise and so much negativity out there that I just wanted to do something to sort of offset that. And I think we accomplished that, you know.
Nice.
But yeah, it was really just experimental, and I just wanted to have fun with that. And if you haven't checked it out, it's on my YouTube page. You can just look up Curtis Lum, Coffee with Curtis.
Nice.
Nice.
One of our friends of the show, Phoebe, was on your show too, and great episode. So everyone should check out Coffee with Curtis.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Josh, what are your handles? Oh, sorry. Yep.
Fun fact: it was because of Phoebe that I learned about your podcast.
Oh, shout out to Phoebe.
Oh, that's nice.
I started a podcast and I was like, hey, get on these guys.
Yeah.
Nice. Ooh, yes.
Me shortly after. So, hey, you know, serendipitous.
Awesome.
Ooh, we're getting that buzz. That's what we want. We want that buzz, the little buzz sneaking in the dead of the night. But yeah. Yes. So I guess for my handles, at Josh Yang Comedy across everything. And of course, if you're having trouble sleeping, you could always sleep with Josh. That's my other podcast where I read boring things. So you could look that up as well. And Lucas, what are your handles?
You can find me across social media at Lucas John Ing. Again, NG, no vowels. So you can also find this podcast at HWMIY Podcast. And please like and subscribe us because we appreciate the support.
Yes, we do.
Awesome.
And for those of you listening that aren't watching, Lucas has great hair, by the way. Great head of hair.
There it is. Yeah.
You know what? There's a lot of grays in there, but better gray hair than no hair right now.
Amen. Amen.
That's true. That's true.
You look great too, Josh. You look great too, Josh.
That's
Don't worry,
okay.
don't worry.
Oh, all right. Well, throw me in there as well.
Awesome. See you all next week. Thank you so much.
Yes.